Assez. Tu entends? Assez. Assez.
James. Oh, I know. There'll be another day. And when you go, you must be up with the lock.
Bradley's essential point, Charles, was that the more we consider matter, the less able we are to grasp it. Our analysis is destructive. We go on slicing away at objects in the world, separating characteristics, describing. It's as though we were condemned to advance each time half the distance covered by the preceding step. Bradley insists that to pass beyond physical analysis, we need a metaphysical system. It completes the process of perception, and then we arrive.
James thwarted again. I'm afraid so.
That boy will have to learn that we cannot plan our lives around what he wants to do.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Esmeralda. Yes, I would love to come to your party. I have just the dress, you know. It is all over pink bows and the dearest little shells. And oh, I have so much jewelry, Esmeralda. Really, you know, it's given me a headache to decide what to wear.
He went close to me and said, "Oh, man of the sea, come to listen to me. Alice, my wife, has sent me to play a boon of it."
The sea must be the hardest subject of all. It teems with its own life, yet threatens us with oblivion. James is like a kite. There's Mrs. Ramsay, holding the other end of the string.
Days are slipping by.
Yes, sir. I did hope we might have an opportunity to discuss my dissertation soon.
Time we did, Charles. Time we did.
Yes, I would value that, sir.
Bravo!
Is this the last man of whom cricket legends are made?
I doubt it.
How's that? I wasn't ready.
Oh, yes, you were.
Jasper, you did bowl rather hard.
I wasn't ready!
Come on, James. Out is out.
Oh, give him another go.
Yes, I'm all for that.
James, you are out. I don't want this little fish. I don't want this little fish in my net. It's a naughty, nasty little fish, and I won't have him for dinner. Go back into the sea.
Hello, Cam.
Hello, Aunt Lily.
How was your sketching, Miss Briscoe?
I wasn't very pleased with my efforts today, I'm afraid, Mr. Tansley. You're such a harsh judge of your own talents, Lily, dearest.
There's never been a major woman artist.
Really?
I wish it were not so.
We're not dealing with the matter of it is so or it is not so. We're discussing mere opinions, aren't we?
I think there is such a thing as objective truth, an undeniable manifested consensus of thought. Mr. Ramsay, I'm sure, would agree with me.
I expect you have a fondness for lists. Best poet, second best poet, third best poet.
Oh, hardly so facile.
Doubtless you have jolly arguments as to who is the best undergraduate of his year.
In my year, it was me.
Have you seen the shipwreck yet, Mr. Tansley?
Oh, no, Andrew, I haven't.
Tide will cover it soon, of course. There's not much to see now. But even so, she went down in that storm. You know, the one that sent the snake to that Rangaroon.
Masterly, mother dearest.
Let's hope it's fine tomorrow.
Why is that, Father?
The tournament, Andrew, the tournament.
Come along, James. Not too slow.
Caroline, I've had enough of your damn philanthropy. We do less and less together. If you aren't writing letters to bereaved relatives, then you're fiddling about with your accounts book. You will accompany me and the children to the tournament,
Michael,
Caroline.
I cannot.
You will not make any of your damn visits today.
Waterland Livier's dying. I have to visit him.
Oh, Caroline.
Can we go shopping, Mother?
No. I thought you wanted to go to the beach today.
Was Father angry? Why was
Marie, here's one found.
I can't find James. I have looked everywhere.
Well, look again. The house isn't that big.
Beg pardon, sir. I thought as everyone had finished.
A little vice I have.
Do hurry up, you confounded children. I should be there by now.
I'm sure you'll enjoy it. It's such a beautiful day.
Oh, don't be such a misery, Nancy, please.
Wouldn't you rather change places with me, Mr. Tansley? Wrestling isn't really my cup of tea at all. But I love going with Mother on her rounds. The people, they're so real.
Oh, I'm sorry to keep you waiting, Mr. Tansley. Good morning, Mr. Laura. Goodbye, my dears. Enjoy yourselves. We're going to the village, Mr. Carmichael. You want anything? Stamps, writing paper, tobacco. You should have been a great philosopher. You made an unfortunate marriage. Have you come this way before?
Is it quicker?
It's prettier. Your predecessor liked it.
My what?
Your predecessor. My husband invites one of his students down here most years. Why, Mr. Tansley, you look quite hurt.
No, it's just that well, I forget what a pattern everything has.
We've been coming down here for several years, you know.
Well, who lived in that house before?
A mining family. They went bankrupt, I believe. It was sad. The house stood empty for years because nobody wanted it.
Must be pleasant to have two houses.
You disapprove?
Well, many people in Cornwall don't even have one.
You are our guest, Mr. Tansley. Why, Mr. Tansley, you are tinder dry. I do believe if you stand out here in this sun for more than an hour, you'll go up in smoke.
Mrs. Ramsey, let me carry your basket.
That is kind of you.
met my daughters?
No, I haven't.
Prudence and Nancy, and these couple of rascals are my sons. Mr. Trevorrow, how's that young son of yours going to fare? Is he going to win the belt and bring you glory?
He's got Hawkins to deal with.
Ah, yes, Hawkins.
Get in there!
They risk their lives every day to earn their keep. What do they do with sport? They break each other's bodies in wrestling matches.
Oh, I don't think it's quite as dangerous as that, Nancy.
Last year, one man broke his back. He's in a wheelchair now. Isn't that the most appalling, ridiculous tragedy?
Well, it's just the way they are.
Is Sam on again yet?
Next bout. Semi-final, isn't it?
I've got a bet on the final. Don't tell Father.
Backing our Sam, are you?
I've got a bet with Mildred.
Paul's coming soon, isn't he, Prue?
Yes.
We shall see less of you.
To endure that train journey is ample proof of devotion.
Should be at the tournament.
I need him here, Walter. Now, don't you be arguing with that. Tom, Mrs. Ramsey has a word to say.
Tom, you know where I live, don't you? I've told your mother that if she needs me urgently, at any time, she's to send you to fetch me. You must use the back door if it's in the night. It's never locked.
Come on, Sam.
You predicted well, Mr. Trevorrow.
You've got him, Sam!
Bad luck, Sam. Come now, Trevorrow. Lose like a gentleman.
It's fixed. It's a fair back that Sam had there, no doubt about it.
Well done, Fred.
Have you got your speech ready, Father?
Well, Andrew, what do you think? Did Sam have a fair back or no?
I really don't know, Father. Don't know the rules.
Well, you should. This is an important sport for the people here. The least we can do is try to understand it.
Well, Trevorrow watches Jasper and I playing chess in the garden for hours on end. Hasn't taken any interest in that.
Do you think that's comparable?
I was only giving my point of view, Father.
Then you're a fool.
I suppose he knows the rules.
Of course he does, Andrew. He'll have sat down with the local experts the first summer he came here and found out all about it.
I wish only to say that I am honored that you have asked me to present the prizes today. We Ramsays are only swallows, you know, here for the summers. Indeed, I feel it is presumptuous that someone like I should stand here in the place of honor, when there are doubtless others whose roots are deep down in this countryside that I love so much. Others far more fitting than I. Thank you. Fred Hawkins.
He's won again.
I'm sure you find this pace most irritating. You like to be getting on in a hurry, don't you, Mr. Tansley?
My mother says I can't keep still for 5 minutes.
Have you been homesick since you've been here?
Of course not.
You haven't always been happy, though.
One does feel sometimes on the outside.
I expect you haven't had all the time you'd like with Michael. I hope you've been writing regularly to your mother and father.
When I can.
Forgive me. I shouldn't pry into other people's lives. It's a vice I have.
Is what you've been doing this afternoon a vice? Or a virtue? Little boy Tom was rather hostile.
Such fierce pride.
I'm the eldest son in my family.
So you are.
I can't afford to visit much during term. My younger sister May is rather bright, you know. I earn the money to pay for her schooling. I earn the money to pay for my own schooling and all my studies at the university.
Come in.
I brought my dissertation. You said I showed it at dinner.
Yeah, good. Put it on the desk there.
You'll be able to read it through this evening, will you?
Don't worry, Charles. Off you go.
I don't want to be a trouble to you, sir.
Of course you're no trouble. I'm a teacher, am I not? I must help my students, mustn't I? How like you I was when I was 25. But I was further on than you are, Charles, my boy. You have reached H. I was as far as O.
That was lovely. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I do feel the lack of any real education on these occasions. Arithmetic, for instance.
Did you enjoy your walk with the atheist?
I wish you wouldn't call him that, Nancy.
The Church of England has a vested interest in the perpetuation of a property-owning ruling class. No god worth his salt would stomach a bishop.
Nancy, you really must show more respect. Your father has a very high opinion of young Mr. Tansley. Very able. He does say he's very able.
He can be a second Aristotle for all I care. He's a bore and a prig. And I wish he wasn't here. next year. Don't you think we can come down here and just be on our own? Couldn't we do that? Just family. No boring old students or crusty old family friends. No injured birds. Oh, Mother, please.
I don't know who you mean by injured birds, Nancy.
Yes, you do.
That's enough.
If you wouldn't mind, Nancy, I wish to talk with your mother. You'll strain your eyes, Caroline.
Yes, I must stop soon.
Who are you knitting for now?
Ben Sawley's son. The lighthouse keeper's son.
I've been trying to work.
It's Marie's evening off. That's why the children are so noisy.
Whether they're noisy or not is beside the point. I am unable to work. My brain has become an unwilling beast.
It's been a tiring day for you, Michael. Leave it till morning. I'm sorry our Sam didn't win.
Your absence was a subject of comment.
The light has gone. Cannot be bothered to have the candles lit. Together, don't you think, Mr. Carmichael?
Always arguing, aren't they?
They're both so serious. Mr. Tansley should be a politician. He would change the world for the better. And Lily would be a source of strength to him. She would have her studio, and he his study. You're not listening, Mr. Carmichael.
Do you like Charles Tansley?
Well, we have certain problems in common. Do you?
It's not my type.
What is your type?
I don't know, really. Come on. People say I'm too serious. The world isn't a funny place, is it?
It's strange. Your mother believes the world is filled with tragedy, but she laughs all day long.
Mr. Carmichael says she's extraordinarily beautiful. Lily, I don't know what that means.
I do. If you could wave a wand, I suspect you'd choose to be someone other than Nancy Ramsey.
I'd like to be Marie. She's a long way from home amongst foreigners. I'd love to be amongst foreigners. And she has secrets.
Don't you?
No. Ramses aren't allowed to have secrets. We are endlessly inspected.
You are much loved. I envy you that.
Marie had a letter from Switzerland. She read it up in her room. She cried for hours, didn't she, Count?
Oh, Andrew, quick!
You'll go soon, won't you, Mother?
Write too many letters, Mother.
Mother, but we will go soon.
Where, my dearest?
To the lighthouse.
Oh, dear boy. I'm sorry to have kept you waiting. Prue wanted to come with me, but I thought it best she stay at home. The evenings are growing chilly this late in the summer. It's lovely here. You'll like it. When I come down in mid-July, you know, and there's been the summer term and a year in stuffy London, let me tell you, my mind is in a parlous state. They do say, don't they, that you can improve an old clock by putting a piece of cloth in the back with a trace of oil on it. This is my piece of oily cloth.
I'm sure you could have persuaded him, dear Brisk.
Well, why should I, Mrs. Ramsay? He didn't come here to go for invigorating walks. He came to...
Oh, the dissertation. Well, it matters to him. I'm glad you two seem to be getting on better than you used to.
We're going to that standing stone up there.
I'm having a rest. Base camp. Come on, children. Base camp. There. Michael has his expedition.
Oh, no. Hello, Mr. Rayleigh?
Am I disturbing you?
Oh, you know, Mr. Rayleigh, we artists are a solitary lot.
Oh, it's quite marvelous up here, Miss Briscoe. I think if I had any ability whatever with a brush, this is where I'd come.
I have no ability.
Of course you have.
But I do persist. I'm very stubborn.
But perhaps you couldn't not paint even if you wanted to abandon it.
Do you know much about painting, Mr. Rayleigh?
I go to exhibitions when I can. I'm sure you'd find my taste very old hat. I bought a painting last year, as a matter of fact. It's pretty straightforward. A view of Richmond. I first met Miss Ramsay in Richmond. We went for a walk in the park. We watched the deer.
The painting's an aid memoir, is it?
Good day, Miss Briscoe.
How can I capture all this?
landscape is a record of men's labor to transform nature, to exploit it. It is their handiwork. I suppose that's why male artists portray it so convincingly. They are fired by that pride of possession. It is all the more lamentable, then, that they think of landscape as feminine.
Jasper tells me his feet are sore. You certainly set a cracking pace, Michael.
Inappropriate footwear, Caroline. The idiot boy only had canvas shoes.
Yes, Michael.
You must get him a decent pair of walking boots. Support the foot. Leather uppers, Caroline. And a broad fitting.
He'll have outgrown them in a year.
Huh?
Michael, how do you find Paul Rayleigh?
Same as ever, I suppose. Steady but dull. Why?
I think he has come down to propose to our Prue.
Oh, I see. What will her answer be, do you think?
Knowing Prue, she'll be guided by what we think.
Would she be happy?
I think they're very much in love.
Perhaps I should raise the matter with him. Isn't that what one does?
No. I'm sure he will propose.
If that is what you would have him do, Caroline, then I'm sure he will. In this house, your wishes command us all. Another day gone by, nothing achieved.
You are with your family, Michael.
Consolation prize. I'm sorry.
I know what your reputation is. And the people you invite here, they speak so highly of you.
Nanny, there's a burglar!
It's all right. Shh. It's all right, I know who it is. It's not a burglar, James. You mustn't know. Go back to bed, huh? Like a good boy?
Why are you here? I've told you so many times. Closed doors, but open windows. I'm sorry. I've used up all my warmth, Lily. Feel my face, it is ash.
Have you been out?
You know what is the very worst thing? The most awful event I can imagine. That Michael should die before me.
Mr. Ramsay will live to be 100.
Oh, I hope so. hope I die first. This is a lonely little room. I like it. I fear loneliness. That is why we do not really understand one another. I don't live alone. I have a home, my father, and my painting. There cannot be much to share with your old papa, surely. As you wish. I am actually afraid to be on my own. I am sometimes. The other day I was sitting by the French windows in the evening. You know how I like to sit there with James. But I was alone. The children were all upstairs in their rooms. You were off with Augustus somewhere. Michael was in some corner with Tansley jawing away. And so I sat there. And because it was so quiet and had nothing to distract me, I began to hear the waves on the shore. You know how it is when you begin to hear something like that, and it begins to get louder and really becomes quite insistent. And you wonder how it is that you don't hear it all the time. So I listened to the rhythm of the waves falling, drawing back, falling again. And it frightened me. It's foolish, really, but I always have put words to rhythms like that. I can't help it. Ticking of a clock, wheels of a train, even the lighthouse lamp. The wave would fall, and as it drew back, I found myself saying, "The Lord have mercy on us," like that. The wave would fall, and the Lord have mercy on us. I went to find some company. I remember I found Mildred in the kitchen and I started talking about the next day's meals. I can't imagine what she thought had got into me. Is my situation so different from yours? Oh, my dear Brisk. Of course it is. Why? Because you have children and I do not. Because you have a man always to share your bed and I have not. All those things. But what really do you share, Mrs. Ramsay? You don't cease to be one person, it seems. You don't become half a person, do you? Do minds open like mouths in a kiss? I don't believe they do. Love can't claim so much. Poor Lily. No, I'm not poor Lily. You must not say that. I'm sorry. Why must you always insist that the likes of me stand shivering outside the gates to bliss, just because we are not married? Just because we do not have a man always to pamper and serve? I do not serve here. Am I not permitted to be happy as I am, on my own? Lily, I do assure you, I do not serve here. This is my household, and I am in control of it. When it comes down to it, you know, Michael is but one member of that household. Oh, Mrs. Ramsay. You don't understand. Suppose he rejected you. Lily. Suppose he did, what then? If he pushed you out the front door and locked it, what then? You would starve. You don't understand.
Caroline, I've had enough of your damned philanthropy. We do less and less together. If you aren't writing letters to bereaved relatives, then you're fiddling about with your account books for the poor and needy. Or else you're making your visits. Caroline, do you understand? We have children who want you to themselves. And there's me. There is misery all around, I know. Damn it, I knew Walter Lanlevy, and I know his family is destitute. But I also know I cannot care for the whole world, Caroline. Can you?
Mother, do you think Sam would like a rest? We could go out in his boat tomorrow, couldn't we, Mother?
Would you like that, my darling?
Yes.
Well, then we shall ask him.
I do not agree that it has to be done.
But you must keep the house in some state of repair.
I'm sorry, but I cannot afford it. This house is a luxury, Caroline. We are here for 8 weeks in the year. But for the remainder, it is a drain on my purse. Now, I love these summers more than anyone, but let me say this. If you continue to give the nod to such unnecessary expenditure, I shall sell. I will place the house on the market this very autumn.
What do you want me to do? Shall I instruct Trevora to take all the materials back?
I have no wish to discuss this trivial matter any further. Do as you think fit.
Has he found out?
Oh, he says he cannot afford it. It's ridiculous. Of course he can afford it. Not easily, but it won't reduce us to the workhouse.
Father worries so about money.
Oh, it's a moral issue, Prue. This house is a luxury. Luxuries are immoral. Therefore, nothing must be spent on it. Oh, look at it. It's such a pity.
You know, Charles, as I get older, I find I return more and more to the central conundrum of philosophy. Or rather, it returns to me. The relationship between mind and body. Here I am, after 40 years of reflection. I feel that somehow we are all fundamentally wrong. I cannot find a concept that fits the physical facts. Minds are brains, after all. Brains are flesh and blood. Mind is meat, Charles.
We do not perceive our minds as meat, sir.
Ah, but maybe we should, dear boy. That is my point. I go to the beach for a bathe. The sea sets my skin tingling, but the sea also sets my brain tingling. Do you get my point? The sea may affect how I think. How is this, Charles? Assist me.
I'm not sure I follow you, Mr. Ramsay.
Cheer up, Charles, cheer up. Charles! Charles! Good gracious boy, what's the matter?
I do not enjoy being the subject of amusement.
Okay. Really?
But I admire your ability, Mr. Ramsay, enormously. You know that. I felt it was such a privilege to be asked down here to work with you. I left my family and I came down. I thought to spend so many weeks to be able to discuss my dissertation, I thought I must not miss such a chance. Now it is nearly over.
What are you trying to say?
I feel disappointed. Deeply disappointed.
Do you?
I don't understand you. All this gardening and sitting about and playing cricket and playing on the beach, none of it matters, does it? Well, what about your work? Isn't that what matters? Or is it your family that matters? Is all your reading and writing and all our discussions and debates, is that all a game? Well, my work isn't a hobby to me. It's real. It's absolute. And my political views, they're real too. I can't play games. Do I have to be a good sport to be acceptable to you?
Mr. Tansley. Mr. Tansley! I have something more to say to you, Mr. Tansley.
Miller, Mr. Ramsey wants to know where I am. Tell him I've gone to the village.
I'm hot, Mother.
Well, stay in the shade then. I must just finish this bed.
Half a league onward. All through the valley of death rode the 600.
Father?
Yes, Cam. What is it?
Mr. Tansley, he gave me a message for you.
What was the message?
Will you mend my shrimping net?
Come on.
Where is the focus of such a house? I'm not sure I can see it. The outside tells me nothing. It should be sliced through, like a beehive against glass. Passages revealed, storage areas, the royal nursery. James VI is stormy. Poor James. There will be no trip to the lighthouse today. Today is for the dissertation.
James! Has anyone seen James?
There is my focus. I found my subject.
There. Cam, what was the message?
He's always asleep.
That's because he... Well, he's up for much of the night writing his poetry. He's quite a well-respected poet, you know. But his work is rather out of vogue now. He was a teacher in India. He and Father were undergraduates together. He comes down every year. One of the traditions.
Let's get her inside.
Mother!
In the shade.
Well done, Jasper. I'm going to see Mother.
come in?
Shall I come back later?
No, of course not, Prudy.
Children, off you go.
Now, Prue, please, let up the blinds. I do find this gloom horribly depressing. How is my household, Prue? Is it still running along without me?
It's like Sleeping Beauty. The house is so silent. James and Cam haven't had a fight for 3 days.
Extraordinary. How is Paul?
Rather sunburned at present.
Don't be evasive.
Last night I suddenly woke up, started wondering, what will he be like when he's 60?
Just as he is now. We grow old together, husbands and wives.
And I kept on thinking, how has this happened? And why this particular man? I mean, we met and we're in love, but it's all so random. Is that an awful thing to say?
I first met Michael at a reception. Hundreds of people, you know, standing around talking. And I saw him standing there, all alone, with a plate in one hand and a glass in the other. It was as if he were a thin, black post sticking out of the water. And all those other people were just bobbing around him like so much flotsam. Such a vivid recollection.
But were you sure?
Very. Yes? Oh, Jasper.
Are you feeling better now, Mother?
Yes, Jasper. Much better.
Come on, Jasper. Race to the beat.
I'm beaten.
But you must go out to Land's End, Mr. Rayleigh. Every visitor to Cornwall does that. Don't you agree, Prue, Nancy?
Yes, Mother.
You should all three of you go. Today.
The biggest ever.
Look at it.
Oh.
Come and sit down. My God! This house is turning into a zoo. Andrew, remove that bucket. What with birds and caterpillars and God knows what else. We'll all be poisoned if something isn't done. Mrs. Ramsay, if you spent a little more time here, which is your responsibility, and a little less time in other people's houses, which is not, you might be able to see that our kitchen staff took some note of elementary hygiene. Mildred!
Father?
Mildred!
Father, please, let me see to this. Father, please. Prue needn't concern herself. Mildred will take it in her stride. She's as used to Father's rages as the rest of us.
Nancy, I will not have you speak of your father like that.
Why do you defend him? I don't understand why you defend him.
Andrew, do as you're told. Remove the bucket.
Mother,
Yes, James.
I think we should go to the lighthouse today.
That sounds very exciting. I'd like to visit the lighthouse, James.
I'll see the boat is quite small. Mother, do you think we can go?
I'll ask your father.
This one's for Esmeralda, Nanny.
I like James.
James is all sixes. He's 6 years old, and he's the sixth of us.
You're an extraordinary family. All of you.
I'm afraid you've seen us warts and all, Mr. Rayleigh.
That's how it should be.
Oh, no, I'm sure it's not. Suitors should not see behind the curtains.
Oh, come. Mrs. Ramsay.
There sits my small black cat, my Brisk. She watches all our dramas with a narrowed, unblinking eye.
It is a disgrace!
Michael Ramsay has the black mood on him. You young people will not understand what it is. The black mood. There is no comfort.
I do believe Mr. Carmichael is on a different plane from the rest of us.
To listen more than one speaks is a rare gift.
I have to deliver a lecture at Cardiff University early in the term. Damn thing's been on my mind. Damn nuisance.
Oh. Throw them a few crumbs. Undergraduates, in the most part, have the appetite of sparrows.
I am quite unable to do that.
I know that.
I have no new ideas, Augustus. Nothing at all. I shall end up raking through all my old ideas, you know, tied in bundles, stacked in boxes. What's there that's still bright? That's the problem, you see. What can I hurl at them from the lectern? It will flash like a javelin.
Poor Michael.
If you're going to crawl about in your slippers saying, poor Michael, then I can do without you.
I said that because your phrases were turning purple.
I am tired, Augustus. I am weary. But I am not at the summit.
Perhaps he doesn't realize that it's all, you know, serious. Jasper wants to put it in Marie's bed. I ask you.
I just do not understand how a man can devote his life to answering the biggest questions, the most universal questions, and yet go into a rage because of an earwig.
I've asked Augustus to hide it for me. Just until this evening, and then I can get on with my dissection and show Father. I'm sure he'll be impressed.
Why do you want to please him?
I don't care about that. I just want to dissect my crab.
You do want to please him. You always do. Prue is as bad.
Come in.
Sorry I'm late, Mr. Carmichael. I said I'd come and collect my crab.
Oh, yes. I've got something here, Andrew. You may find useful. Better be careful. They're very sharp. Don't ask me why I carry these odd things about with me. I just like to have them near me.
Thank you very much.
Mementos.
Tis ready.
Thanks, Mildred. Did Jasper pay up, by the way? He told me he had a bet with you on who would win that wrestling final.
I paid up more like. He bet Sam would lose.
Thanks.
I'm keeping out of the way.
Perhaps we should have just cooked it properly and eaten it. What are you doing? Having tea.
Shut up, Jasper. This isn't for little boys like you, James.
That's a nice knife. Is it yours? It's in business. Then who did it?
Perfume out, Jasper, and have father up here.
I want to watch.
No!
I'll be very quiet, so you better let me.
James, you are going to bed.
No!
All right, Master. I said we'd have a story downstairs.
No, he is going to bed.
Story, story!
No, you better go to bed, James. You're a tired boy.
Latium, Nancy? Are we being chaperoned by a blue stocking?
Andrew and I are to read Father this afternoon. How dreadful. No, it isn't. I enjoy it.
Education continues throughout the summer, Mr. Rayleigh. At a fairly gentle pace, but it continues.
I think this chaperoning is a bit silly. Don't you?
To drive everyone away from the fields, the neighbouring fields, so that no one dares. No one will challenge them or disturb their security.
You're groping in the dark, Andrew.
Shall I see if they're on their way?
Nancy is always a bad timekeeper.
He was here, Nancy.
Let me take it off for you.
Is he pacing about?
I don't know what you mean by pacing about. Your father's been working on his Cardiff lectures all day. That I do know.
Oh. Yes.
Half a league onward, all through the valley of death.
Oh, dear.
Rode the 600. Forward the light brigade. Was there a man afraid? Was there a man dismayed? Not where a soldier knew someone had blundered.
It's dreadfully bad. There must be a structure in a painting, as strong as a mould, so that I can pour in everything. The sun, the summer house, and the earwig, and Paul Rayleigh's flame of love, and the miseries of little James. Oh, pour it all in, Briscoe. What have I got so far? A Madonna and Child in the modern manner.
Will they be finished in time, Mother?
Well, let me measure them against you. Come on, James. Help your mother. Let me see. Mr. Sawley's son is... Well, he'll be 8 this winter, so... No. Still too short.
Will we leave early in the morning?
If it's fine, my darling. If it's fine, you'll go.
Ideas don't come easily, Augustus. You can't just sit there like St. Francis and have them perch on your shoulder. A good idea, a truly great perception, is like the wildest of animals. It must be hunted in silence with absolute concentration. You have done that, Michael. But so long ago, those days when I used to... long walks in the countryside to nowhere in particular, finishing up at some inn or other. Hours spent at a scrubbed table with no interruptions, yes. Then I glimpsed a truth or two. But too much ease, I lost my way. And I planted the nettles myself. Why do I surround myself with people who... The damnable domestic round. The children, Augustus. Demands, demands, demands. They love their regularities, the rhythms of our life together. So it must be every morning, so a kiss goodnight, so every day, so every month, so every year. Years and years and years.
We are all issued with our measure of love. You had a great measure, Michael. Much more than many of us.
It's all gone, Augustus. All gone. I will not reach the summit. He should be copying the pictures.
He likes cutting them out, Michael.
I see no point in it.
Please move him.
I shall write to Cardiff and decline the invitation.
Oh, my dear. You mustn't do that.
There are better men, well, younger men. I have nothing to say, Caroline.
Michael, each lecture you give is a great success. Mr. Tansley says so.
Mr. Tansley, who is he? The men whose approval I want will not give it to me.
We will be going tomorrow.
What?
The lighthouse. You did say you would go to the lighthouse.
Why hold out hopes to the boy? The wind is set in the west and the barometer is dropping.
But it could change. Things could change.
There will be no trip to the lighthouse tomorrow. Won't children grow, fed on nothing but truth? Do they need daydreams, like roses need soot? Caroline.
Then I will, said Alice. But wife, answered the fisherman, how can you be king? The fish cannot make you king. Husband, said she, say no more about it, but go and try. I will be king. There, Marie's come. We'll stop now, shall we?
Don't stop.
You can look at the pictures. I'll be up soon. Off you go.
Shall I be the belle of the ball, Esmeralda? Shall my eyes shine like my jewels shine? Oh, those are pretty, Esmeralda. Yes, I like those the best. Shall I wear those ones? Would you like me to wear those ones? Well, I will then. Yes.
What have you chosen for me, Cam? There. Now, bed. I'll be along presently.
Take it off, Cam, take it off! You promised you wouldn't talk about it, but you did talk about it, James 6 so. I like looking at it. Well, you can't. I like dead things. Oh, shut up.
Into bed, please. Both of you. I can't imagine why I let Jasper put it here in the first place. There. Let's imagine, Cam. It's different now. A place for secrets. A home for fairies. And a nest for birds before they fly away to wonderful foreign lands. Imagine mountains, Cam. Imagine pastures. The sound of bells and everything that's wonderful. Can't think of everything you love. It's still there, James.
Nancy.
This is a triumph, Caroline.
A little more, Mr. Carmichael?
Glutton.
A little more for you, Father. Yes, Mr. Rayleigh, that's right. This is a French recipe. It was my grandmother's. She was French, you know.
Could only be French. English cooking is a disaster.
Tosh, Nancy. Everything foreign is always better in your eyes.
Oh, have I offended your patriotism?
Good for you, Miss Ramsay. We can do without patriotism.
I didn't intend to open our door to an attack on patriotism, Mr. Tansley. It's just that I think the English overcook their vegetables.
What am I doing here? With this quaint family pretending to be at a banquet. When all we're doing is sitting in a shabby old house having dinner, while the wind outside seems likely to take the roof off.
Hark at that wind. No trip to the lighthouse tomorrow.
Dear Charles is clamouring for attention. Oh, these men do so need our rain of sympathy before even their meanest flowers bloom.
Your father opposed the Boer War, didn't he, Charles? Lloyd George's man.
There. Now bloom.
Sweet brisk.
His livelihood was almost destroyed. The shop is very vulnerable to public prejudice, you see. They soon take their custom elsewhere.
Yes, scandalous. That's why the spread of suffrage without the spread of education is such a frightening prospect. Rule by appeal to the mob.
I presume they brought their custom back in due course.
Yes. As with every war, the euphoria is followed by a sense of waste. My father was then rather admired. But I carry the memory of the hatred, an aspect of my childhood I shall not forget.
I have a poor memory for unhappiness.
Poor Charles. What chance have you against that?
Yes. They will marry. Unstoppable, dear, blind mother has arranged this dinner to celebrate a betrothal that only the two of them are supposed to know has happened. But Mother knows. She has arranged it all. Do I wish to celebrate? Prue will be happier for a time. But what of me? Oh, Prue, what of me?
We are sitting in the midst of tragedy, which will be repeated all round the world on an ever-increasing scale.
I shall complete my painting. I shall move the tree.
Capital will seek the cheapest labour, jumping over the boundaries to which the patriots cling. Here in Cornwall, the whole community of people has been decimated. Thousands of honest men have been forced to leave, to emigrate forever. There is poverty here and helplessness. Personally, I find it hard to ignore.
I know many Cornishmen. They are my friends. I know of these things.
It's time for the toast, mate.
To another summer together.
To another summer together.
Thank you, Nancy. When to the sessions of sweet silent thought I summon up remembrance of things past, I sigh the lack of many a thing I sought, and with old woes new wail my dear time's waste. Then can I drown an eye unused to flow for precious friends hid in death's dateless night, and weep afresh love's long since cancelled woe, and moan the expense of many a vanished sight. Then can I grieve at grievances foregone, and heavily from woe to woe tell o'er the sad account of fore-bemoaned moan, which I new pay, as if not paid before. But if the while I think on thee, dear friend, all losses are restored, and sorrows end.
Thank you, Nancy.
Like as the waves make toward the pebbled shore, so do our minutes hasten to their end. Each changing place with that which goes before, in sequent toil, all forwards do contend. Nativity once in the main of light crawls to maturity, wherewith, being crowned, crooked eclipses gainst his glory fight, and time that gave doth now his gift confound. Time doth transfix the flourish set on youth, and delves the parallels in beauty's brow, feeds on the rarities of nature's truth, and nothing stands but for his scythe to mow. And yet, to times in hope, my verse shall stand, praising thy worth, despite his cruel hand.
I must paint it again.
Caroline. She didn't know I loved her so much. So much.
Of course she knew.
Abandoned, Lily, is the word I would use. By the one person on whom I have come to rely so heavily since I lost Caroline. I'm an old man, Lily, and it comes rather hard to learn one is to be condemned to struggle out the last years of one's life, borne down by the worries of a house to maintain and children to raise. I'm alone now, Lily, so alone.
Say nothing. I had no warning from you, Doctor. No warning.
Still a damn bad timekeeper. Yes. You're late, Nancy.
I'm sorry, Father. I had to see to...
Never mind, never mind. Don't start your excuses. And don't push Cam through the door ahead of you next time.
No, Father.
Well, what sort of a week have we had? Plumber? What's this plumber?
The tap in the scullery, Father. It kept dripping.
It's been dripping for years.
I couldn't stand it dripping any longer.
Stupid child. It doesn't balance. It doesn't balance!
Have you decided whether we're going down to St. Ives again, Father? You said you'd write to Mr. Trevorrow to see... I know you said I shouldn't ask again, but when Aunt Lily came to tea, she said she thought it would be ever so fine if we could, and rescue the house, and go down again. Just us, like we used to. Father?
We shall go back.
Nancy.
He's won again.
Dearest Lily,
myself. Cam. James.
I'm really glad you could come, Aunt Lily.
So am I, Jasper. I don't suppose he slept at all last night. Our first here, you can imagine. Oh, Lily, it was awful. I woke up and heard him crying. He was standing there down in the hall. You know, where the barometer used to be. Standing there, staring at nothing. And weeping. Oh, the old dragon melts my heart.
I'm always reading about your poetry, Mr. Carmichael.
The trick is to live long enough for fashion to come full circle. I have been out in the cold, Lily, but now I am back by the fire. Do you know, Michael, in that new book, there's a poem I wrote when I was 17. The Dog's Star Rages. I thought you might remember it. That college magazine. Oh, what was it? You know.
I don't remember it at all. Probably one of your best. What we produce in the flush of our youth is often the best we ever produce. Then we sing our melody. From then on, it's elaborate harmonies and orchestrations, but the melody is already sung.
Your phrases are becoming purple again, Michael.
I'm surprised your success has not brought out the sartorial aspect of your tastes. You were a dapper chap in our student days.
No, it's the same old suitcase. And much the same inside. Hey, Lily?
Well, what did the Coast Guards have to say, James?
They said the weather won't change for 2 or 3 days.
Excellent. You brought good weather, Lily.
Sam said he thought you could be whistling for a wind.
Well, whistle we shall, and we will find it. Will you be ready for an early start, Cam? James?
Yes, Father.
Yes, Father. He's a morbid old man. Naturally, he didn't ask me if I wanted to come here again.
Don't be horrible, please.
Here we are again in this smelly old house with dear old Augustus and his laudanum and poetry, and dear old Lily and her paintings. He has what he wanted, a good wallow in the past. The past is dead, gone, finished. People shouldn't look back. They should only look forward.
You've got a photograph of Mother in the top drawer of your chest at home.
That's different.
It isn't, James.
That's different. And now we have our trip to the lighthouse. Do you know, he's had Nancy rushing around all evening, trying to find things to pack as a parcel for the lighthouse men. He even wanted her to knit something. Poor Nancy. She's so afraid of him. Cam, why does he want to go to the lighthouse so much?
Don't you know? For you, James. It's for you.
I saw Charles Tansley during the war. Did I ever tell you?
I think you mentioned it.
Well, it was rather extraordinary. I have a friend who's very, you know, active in politics and feminism and so on. And she took me to a meeting. It was rather a dreary church hall in Kensington. The speakers were opposed to conscription. It was incredibly noisy. These soldiers were shouting and making awful threats, and some people were singing hymns. And suddenly there, in all this confusion, I saw it was Charles, up there on the stage, giving a speech. He looked even thinner, even more poverty-stricken. I never knew he was a conscientious objector. Well, we'd completely lost touch.
You needn't have worried. I doubt if the army would have wanted him anyway.
Nancy.
Well, I suppose he is very laudable. I expect he was right to oppose the whole madness of it. I often find myself admiring some man's principles and then despising him anyway. Why are the virtuous so ugly?
Oh, I really can't blame you for hating the Conchis. I mean, people who lost...
It's all right, Lily. We're amongst ghosts anyway here. Poor old Augustus was terribly upset, you know, about Andrew. Apparently he was near to death himself.
Andrew was his favourite, wasn't he?
They had something in common. Andrew had that same self-sufficiency.
He liked the army, didn't he?
How appalling that is.
I remember talking to him at Prue's wedding.
There. Now you have penetrated my armour, Lily.
The wedding?
Yes.
Oh, I'm an old blunderer.
I think we should go in now. I see you've brought your painting things with you.
Yes. I'm as bad as Augustus. Same old case, same old things. Mind you, I have a work to finish.
Mrs. Trescott, will you present my compliments to James and Cam and tell them to hurry up?
Yes, sir.
Move the tree.
Michael, it's time for the toast. To another summer together.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Carmichael. I never recall you appearing so early for breakfast, Mr. Carmichael.
Oh, I grew out of all that silly romance about working at night. The muse beguiled in the small hours. Grew out of that when I was about 65.
Will you damn children come down here?
Poor Michael. Do you know, that final summer we spent here, Michael had published a series of lectures in the spring of that year. They weren't very well received, you know. Not quite up to the standard of his previous work, they said in the learned journals. Not quite his best.
I never knew that.
He ate his heart out all that summer. Caroline consoled him, distracted him. You know the way she always did, always had. Perhaps too much.
What's the matter with you?
Nothing.
Just your usual misery, is it? Have you nothing to say to your old father? No crumb of pity? What's this?
It's a present for one of the lighthouse men.
I will not arrive with something that looks like a remnant from a church bazaar. I thought you were in the garden. This expedition is in memory of my wife, Lily. She liked to see that the lighthouse men were cared for.
Oh, what beautiful boots.
Yes. They're first rate, aren't they? There's only one man in England who can make boots as good as these. Let's see if you can tie a good knot, young lady. Double bow, Lily. Double bow.
He's happy now. He has his expedition.
James, it's your turn to bat.
Okay, out is out. James! James!
Do you care to take the tiller, Master James?
Glad you came now, Cam.
It is beautiful out here.
I'm glad you came. You and James, too.
What are you reading?
A nonsense. This apparently is one of the bright young men in my field. More flashes here and there, I suppose. There are as many holes as in that old shrimping net you used to love.
There's one over there.
Where did he go? Maybe he'll come back. Where did he go?
I'll take the tiller now, Master James.
We have arrived. You have steered well, James.
They have arrived. It is finished. I shall not look at it. Closed doors, but open windows. Dearest Brisk, you are